So I think that all the topics that I discussed, it's all about cytogenetics, or are we able to know about this. So next topic, it's all about, or the next subtopics of this lesson is all about the inborn errors of metabolism. So in this lesson, we will be able to identify what are the some inborn errors of metabolism that can be adapt of the specific organisms na ma-adopt natin siya yung parang yung mga mali na malalaman natin sa isang organism sa pag-function nito. So we have first to identify what is inborn error of metabolism. So inborn error of metabolism comprise a large of class of genetic diseases involving disorder of metabolism. So na-identify niya or isa siyang malaking class ng genetic diseases. Parang wide siya. Wide ang kanyang disorder ng isang specific na organ para maka-create siya ng mga iba't ibang abnormalities sa isang organism. So the majority are due to defects of single genes that code of enzymes that facilitate conversion of various substance or subtracted into other products. So yun nga, nakaka-apekto siya sa other genes na sa isang enzyme. So masasabi natin na ang inborn errors of metabolism ay yung nakaka-apekto siya kapag may isang genes or occur during the code of enzymes through facilitate of conversion or sa various substance na in-line to that. So parang ang kaniyang function to form that abnormalities of the isang organism. So in most of the disorders, problems arise due to accumulation of substance which are toxic or interfere with normal. So yun nga. So parang if ever nga there is an abnormalities or an error sa metabolisms, nagkakaroon siya ng problem. So yun nga, parang yung ina-discuss niya yung isang problems na kapag hindi siya nakakapag-functions morally or properly, parang yung may isang substance or na parang nag-inactive siya. So yun natin nga base nga, yun na maapektuhan yung isang genes through genes. So to the effects of reduced ability to synthesize essential compounds. So yun nga, parang meron siyang mga bagay na dapat talagang i-function properly para to avoid na yung mga there are things na parang ma-avoid siya, kagaya na lang na kapag yung pag-function niya through yung paano siya nagpa-function. So dapat ma-identify talaga siya improperly talaga. So next is inborn errors of metabolism are now often referred to as congenital metabolic diseases or inherited metabolism diseases. So next is the inborn errors of metabolism are rare genetic or inherited. So na-adapt natin siya. Na-adapt sa isang disorder which is the body cannot properly turn food into energy. So yun nga, parang yung kapag like a digestive process. If ever things nga, mayroong isang the body cannot properly turn the food into energy. So parang wala tayong energy, di ba? Based in our reality na experience natin na kapag hindi tayo kumakain sa umaga, parang yung energy natin sa ating self, hindi natin na-absorb nga. There are things na parang less ang kanyang function. Dahil yan, sa mga there are organisms na nagpa-function siya improperly. So, the disorders are usually caused by defects in the specific proteins or enzymes that helps break down the missing part of the foods. So, inborn errors of metabolism are group of inherited metabolic disorders leading to enzymic defects in the human metabolism. So, yun nga. Kapag isa siya, there are things na parang hindi natin siya kayang i-do it ourselves. So, yun nga, meron tayong mga abnormalities na ma-identify sa ating self. So, hence, it is also called inborn error of metabolism or inherited metabolic disorders. So, yun nga, parang nakaka-copy yun siya, yun na i-inherit natin. So, parang na na-adapt natin siya both sa ating environment or sa ating sa environment or sa ating sa specific society. So the inborn error of metabolism also can appear in a birth at birth or later in the life, such as polycythemia, albinism, or lactose intolerance, mature diseases, or Fabry diseases, and etc. So there are also times na ang inborn errors of metabolism ay yung lumalabas na siya or resulta na siya kapag lumalabas na yung isang tao, for instance yung bata. So kapag lumalabas na siya, so if ever meron tayong mga disorders na napapansin sa isang bata, diyan din nagbabase. So there are times also na yung isang disorder or isang inborn error sa metabolism is lumalabas siya into sa if ever yung tumatanda na, doon talaga yung lumalabas kasi yun ang mga prone na mga situation or meron nga I didn't think na meron yung mga edad na yung nagbe-base sila sa edad. So, hindi yan nagbe-base. So, at least na we will be able to know that siya sa specific na function niya. So, there are many types of inborn errors of metabolism that there are few of them. So, first we have fructose intolerance. So, first we have fructose intolerance. So, fructose intolerance, it is a metabolic disease caused by an absence of an enzyme called aldolase. In people with HFI or the hereditary fructose intolerance, there are also an ingestion of fructose or the sucrose or the causes of severe hypoglycemia or blood sugar and build into the dangerous substance of the liver. Yun nga, meron siyang substance or nag-occur siya metabolic diseases na parang nagko-cause siya through liver siya. So parang yung may malfunction sa ating sarili na kapag meron tayong mga errors na na-feel natin or na-absorbed through liver in our body. So next is galactosemia. So galactosemia, which means lactose in the blood, refers to a group of inherited disorders that may appear the body's inability. So I think ito siya yung mga different also we have maple sugar urine diseases and definitely ketonuria. So next is, so ito yon the fructose intolerance. So parang yun nga, so yung so as we can see sa illustration, sa fructose intolerance, so siya yun nga, so parang yung fructose is nag-absorb siya through high lactic acid sa napupunta sa ating katawan. So yun nga yung, di ba, yung mga instances na kumakain tayo ng mga pagkain na hindi siya masyadong digest sa ating tiyan. Tapos it nagli-lead siya into disorder metabolism siya. And next, we have also the galactosemia. So, galactosemia, ito yung mga diseases na nagma-malfunction sa isang tao. So, if meron tayong ganito na diseases na makikita natin mostly sa mga bata, meron siya itong brain damage or cataracts, yung mga yung ating pananaw is parang na-blurred. Then may jaundice, yung mga yung meron din siyang merong mga bagay sa ating katawan or function na hindi siya gagaya na lang ng merong mga bagay na dapat nating i-prioritize. Then enlarged liver, lumalaki yung atay kapag sa ganitong sitwasyon. So there are also kidney damage. So para siya dapat talaga natin is we have to care now para to avoid these different diseases sa ating So the maple sugar urine diseases is the rare genetic with the metabolic disorder. The body can break down branch through amino acids. Yung isa yun sa yung pag-iinom siya. Yung pag-iinom also is isa yun siya sa urine diseases. Yung nakaka-apekto siya yun. Gaya na lang natin yung kapag umihi tayo, yung meron na yung mga bato-bato sa ating yung nahihirapan tayo sa pag-ihi. Isa din yun sa sa sakit dapat nating maiwasan. So isa yan siya, as base siya sa no. So next is piniculturia. So ito yung structure na kung paano na ano yung isang PKU sa isang tao siya. Next is we have the common errors of metabolism. So I think such as yung mga na-discuss ko lahat. So next topic, it's all about behavioral genetics. So, dito naman is yung behavioral genetics. So, sa lesson na ito, we have to determine what is behavioral genetics or what are the some functions need to apply in the human, in our human. So, first, we have to identify what is behavioral rather genetics. So, behavior is the series of actions and events together show how things normally happens or done by organisms. Yun nga. So parang ang isa siyang behavior is yung action siya, nagtitraits yun together sa nagpo-function siya through an organism. So in line to that, genetics is the study of genetic makeup of an organism and how this influences physical and behavioral characteristics. So parang nag-inline siya sa dalawa. So in a broadly sense, behavioral genetics, it is the concern that the genetics transmission or traits that give rise to patterns of the behavior. So parang siya, merong mga things na nag-transmit na sa ating, gaya na lang ng pag-uugali. So yun nga, so isa yun sa mga patterns na yung pag-uugali na nakikita or na-feel natin sa isang tao. Or the study of the relative influence of genetic and environment on behavior. So, parang nag-a-adapt siya through yung na-adapt niya sa labas or yung na-adapt niya sa specific na family or sa isang specific na society. So, parang meron siyang adaptation na nakukuha niya base sa kanyang traits. Yun nga. So, parang nag-iiba siya to form a more na behavior sa kanyang sarili. So, the interactive theory of development, many insect species possesses extremely sophisticated behavioral abilities. So, taking the worker honeybee, see for an example, yung mga honeybee. So, the workers go through a regular progression of occupations. Ay, di ba, yung mga bubuyog. So, lahat sila is nagpo-formulate. So, nagpo-formulate, nagko-cooperate para sa nagkuha ng mga pagkain. Di ba, pinagsasaluhan nila sa specific na society. Yun nga. So when a worker emerged from a broad cell in the oxymom done by the another workers, so the first job is an humble one that cleaning the womb. So yun. Di ba? Sa yung isang tao. So ipagpalagay naman natin sa isang tao. Yun nga, kapag isang tao ay may yung gumagamit ng isang bagay o isang bagay na hinirap or di ba masisense natin sa ating sarili na iba-iba ang tao ng pag-uugali, iba-iba ang tao ng we have to understand na sa iba. Then the feeds honey, she or Dan becomes the nurse that feeds honey to co-alert in the broad coming for making the transition of the distributor of food to her fellow workers. So yun nga. So sa isang specific na lugar or sa isang specific na society, ma-adapt talaga natin kung ano yung mga kaugalian or mga traits na nababasa natin sa ating sarili. Gaya lang ng isang tao yung adaptation. So yun nga. So isang adaptation, so maiba yung merge na sa yung sarili. Parang maiba yung attitude, so parang naghalo siya. Kasi meron siya yung sa true biological, meron din siya yung sa adaptation rather. So what the causes workers to go through these separate development stages? So this is the interactive theory that developments the informations in some of the bees. So yun nga. So sila yung bees are the influential examples of this theory. Na many thousands of genes that bees genotype not as much respond to the environment in a way that influence the development in her measurable characteristics on which includes the approximate mechanisms of underlying her behavior. Yun nga, parang siya, sa isang specific na lugar, or sa isang specific na society, or sa isang specific na bagay, ano talaga, we will be able to know talaga. So, yung parang may pagsama tayo sa isang sitwasyon. So, the nurture fallacy and the nature. So, what are the difference of these two? So, and B for a game, behavior cannot be purely genetically determined because the behavior is product to literally thousands of chain environment interactions. So, in addition to that, all of which are required to construct the beast brains and the rest of its body. Indeed, that the information in the DNA that makes up of gene expressed only when the gene is appropriate in an environment. So parang kung ano yung nababase natin. So parang yung ano yung na-adapt natin sa isang specific na lugar. So an example to that, concentration difference in juvenile hormone is a young nurse workers and old for 8 years. So presence of ethyl in the Frege bees that inhibit in the development of feeding behavior in the young bees. So ano yung na-adapt sa isang follower or isang organisms na yung nababase nila yung ano yung makukuha nila sa isang specific na society para to provide in more about nga yung isang specific na development.
Start.
So next is the behavioral development requires both genes and environment. So dito nga malalaman natin kung ano yung mga like ng genes. So ano yung mga nakuha natin through biological galing sa ating pagkatao, and what are the things na nakuha natin through sa environment. Kasi maraming things, there are many things na involve or get involved sa isang society. Kasi as we grow older, malalaman talaga natin kung ano yung mga specific na isang type or isang specific na mga katangian or traits na lumalabas kapag tayo ay patuloy na nakipagkapwa-tao meron tayo sa ating makipagtao. So, branding is a classical example of the circumscribed learning in which a young animal's early social interaction. So usually, we as parents lead to its learning, such as things at what's the constitutes an appropriate sexual partner. So yun nga. So parang yung na-adapt natin sa isang specific na lugar or sa isang specific na environment, meron yung parang na-adapt natin siya. Gaya na lang yung sinabi ko na yung adaptation. So parang kapag meron tayong mga na-adapt na traits sa ating environment, yun nga is parang more on, there are essential things na we need to critique more about ourselves. Then, next is single gene effect on development. So, difference in even a single gene product can lead to many divergence in the gene environment interactions occurring the different individual, which may translate into large behavioral differences between them. So, yun nga. So, kapag may isang gene na through development, talaga na sabi talaga not necessary na we are relying, so parang nag-rely tayo. Dapat talaga sa isang gene dapat talaga yung may interactions talaga na nangyayari. Para naman sa ganon, is yung behavioral yung parang behavioral natin na differences is parang lumalabas siya. So parang may isang katangian or traits na dapat talaga show, ipapakita talaga natin para hindi talaga natin masasabi na ang isang tao ay hindi nag-i-interact siya. A single gene's effect can be documented in several different ways, but perhaps most dramatically by gene knockout experiments in which a given gene is inactivated in an animal genome in order to determine how the particular gene contributes to develop in a particular environment. So yun nga. Dapat talaga kapag may isang genes ay kapag meron siyang isang interactions, dapat talaga is nakabase siya through environments. Kasi walang isang organisms or isang human na walang pag-interactions. Kasi meron talaga is a present time talaga na nangyayari. So, the inclusions of these subtopics is there are different types of behavioral patterns. Yes, there are many types that majorly instinctive and adapted. So, yun. Parang na-feel natin sa ating sarili through adaptations and meron din na-instinct sa ating sarili. So there are two. So basis lang sa kanila na pinofocus siya. But all behavioral patterns requires the impressions of genes under the suitable environmental conditions. So, nagbe-base siya through sa ating learning siya. So, through sa our environment. So, neither genotype or no environment can be said to be more important than the other. So, yun yan. So, dito na, masasabi natin na isang behavioral patterns or behavioral genetics na meron talaga siyang inherent na na-adapt natin sa ating through sa inheriting genes na lumalabas sa ating self or sa ating environment kasi isa din yun siya sa mga bahagi ng sa ating sarili. So these are the references of the topic I discussed all about. So I think thank you for watching and I hope you learned a lot some of the topic which is the genetic and man, which is the topics which identify the side to genetics and the inborn error of metabolism and the behavioral genetics in human diversity. So that's all and thank you so much for listening.